We can say that the Congress has been kicked off. We'd like to highlight that it's the first time that we've had over 600 experiences from all over the world. It's a record and a source of pride. We don't have a huge amount of time, so we'll ask everybody to be as punctual as possible in presentations and attendance. Plenary sessions will be held here, and the experience presentations will go on at the same time in 4 different rooms. All of the rooms are signposted. The rooms are 3, 4, 5, and 6. And room 6 has simultaneous interpreting to Korean also. There will also be a speaker's corner. I encourage you to go there during your coffee breaks, and there'll be 6 spaces presenting a range of experiences there. We want to thank you for your effort and interest in taking part in Congress, and mention POCN, which you have in your welcome pack, which includes all the documentation on the experiences, the IAEC, and other documents of interest. Also, it has your basic contact details. So what you have to do is to bring 2 POCN devices together, and a little light will go on and to tell you that all of the information has been transmitted from one to the other.
Sí? Doncs seguim amb les informacions.
So, more information. An important aspect of any Congress is networking. It's not just about listening to each other, listening to what speakers have to say, but also meeting each other and growing networks of contacts. Now we have a number of ways to do this here. The first, we're starting right here, right now, breaking the ice, telling each other who we are and where we're from. And as I said, there are 98 cities here, lots of different countries, 19 countries, so we can't say hello to everybody individually. But we do want to greet the networks. So we're going to start. We're just going to hear about the new networks that are here today, which is the French, Italian, Mexican, Asia Pacific, Delegation of Latin America, Portuguese, a Brazilian, and people from Brazil. Please stand up so that we can see who you are and congratulate you, because you are the country that is most represented at the Congress here. So we'd like to see Brazilian colleagues, please, and friends. Please stand up or raise your hand. Tell us who you are. Brazil, where are you? Okay, round of applause for the Brazilian network, please, which is the most represented country of South America. Next, Portuguese network. Where are you? Friends from Portugal. 39 participants. It's the most represented European country. Next, a Korean network. Where are our colleagues and friends from Korea? Put your hand up, please. Where are you? Congratulations. 39 participants who have come all the way here from Korea to enjoy the Congress. They've come from a long way. Thank you, Korea. And lastly, the Spanish network. Some 248 people from Spain. Obviously, it's the closest network here. Put your hands up, please. There are a lot of you. Congratulations also to all of you for being here. So, we've told you all about how many speakers, experiences there are and all of that. Just a couple of interesting points. Esther Alder from Geneva. Are you here, Esther Alder? Well, just let me tell you a little secret. Congratulations, Esther. You were the very first person to submit an experience presentation that came from you. So congratulations. Your presentation was first. Another little detail. A lot of work has gone on over the last few months. A lot of emails have been sent backwards and forwards. Can you imagine how many emails we have had? Are you ready? 83,000 emails have gone back and forth from the Congress and the organizers to you and back. 83,000. That's an awful lot of work from you. So congratulations for all of that. And now, an educating city is an inclusive, creative, participatory city that shares, but it's also a happy city. It's a positive thinking city that is passionate about life. And so we just have a couple of minutes now. And we've talked about the network, the new networks. We've all greeted each other, said hello. And now we're extending our network to our new members. What we want to do is to create a network here among all of you. I have a couple of people at the back, and I'm going to throw out a challenge to you. A city that's educating is happy and is also helpful. So I've got a little game for you, a little challenge. And it's a way of networking and getting to know each other more. When I say the word, 9 balls will appear. 9 big balls with words on them that are all related to the Congress. Words that are probably on the tips of your tongue already. So these 9 balls, when I say the word, will come into the room, flying into the room. Careful, you have to have your hands ready, so put your bits and bobs down. And I'm going to count to 15 exactly, and I don't want any of these balls to touch the floor during that time. Our network has to ensure that, so I'll count to 15. Well, if you catch a ball at the end, if you've got a ball in your hands at the end of 15 seconds, I want you to bring it up here. So are you all ready? Ready, steady, go. And I'm starting to count. 15, 14, 13, 12. You have to look behind you. 10, 9, 8. We can see other balls being thrown from one side of the room to the other. 6. Oh dear, it's going back. 3, 2, 1, 0. Very good, excellent. If you have a ball right now, bring it up to the stage, please. Great. Can you bring them up, please? We have the innovation here, creativity. We've got commitment, coexistence, participation, inclusion, and opportunity. We were just hearing about how opportunities reach us a while ago. So we've got these words up here. We've all interacted a little bit there. I've heard some laughs, and I hope you will continue to be happy over the course of the Congress. As I was saying, we have 6 speakers' corners. It's one of the new aspects of the Congress. They're very well prepared. So you can go down there in your coffee break, have your pastry, have your coffee, and listen to what will certainly be very enriching talks going on there. There are people outside the workshops. You'll be able to see who they are very quickly. And they're people who will help you come out of the workshops happily and swiftly. We have to be a little bit swift in everything we do here. And they'll show you the way down to the coffee break area, and that's where the speakers' corners will be held. Irene is here. She's one of our coordinators. They all have the same cap on. So they will be leading the way to the different speakers' corners, these people with these caps on, and they can tell you which one you might be most interested in. Last point. We have another new space, which we're very excited about, which is a creative wall. It's also downstairs in the exhibition speakers' corners area. And the idea, what we hope, is that every day, at least once, but as many times as you want, you can leave your footprint, your mark on that mural, on that wall. Tell us your ideas, your worries, your dreams, when you came and when you leave. Also, tell us what you've learned, what's changed, anything you want. So there's a lot of pens and papers down there, materials, so you can really let your imagination run wild. And I hope you have a very good Congress. Thank you.
Moltes gràcies, Imma.
Thank you very much, Imma Marin. So we're all warmed up and we are ready to hear about the monograph that the International Association of Educating Cities has drawn up. Jordi Martí, the Councillor for Presidency and Territory and President of the Delegate for the IAEC, is going to present this.
Aquí al aquí? Aquí mateix?
¿Dónde me siento?
Sí,
bueno,
queráis, ¿no?
Sí, cualquier sitio, no hay problema de protocolo.
Okay.
Buenos días, de nuevo, gracias.
Good afternoon again. Thank you for staying with us. To hear about another part of the Congress of Barcelona. We're delighted to present the 5th monograph of the International Association of Educating Cities. At the end of the session, when you go out of here, you can pick a copy up from the IEC stand. It's a really extraordinary publication, utmost quality, but not just quality of publishing, but also in content. And I'd like to congratulate the people who've pulled this off. We'll be able to talk to a few of those in a moment, including the coordinator of the team. And the title of the monograph is City, Social Inclusion and Education. Obviously, it's very much in keeping with the content of the Congress and this driving theme of inclusion. I'm going to introduce our colleagues firstly. Xavier Bonal, on my right here, he's a lecturer at the Autonomous University in Barcelona and a specialist in sociology, education and educational policies. And he's going to coordinate or chair this little session. On my left is Cristina Tenreiro from Santa Maria da Feira, Portugal, Councillor for Education and Youth in Santa Maria da Feira. Further on the left, Dr. Inti Betoki from the Dom Paulo Institute in Bologna, Italy, and on the far left from Mexico City, Agustinez Ortiz, the director of the network of trades and crafts, which is part of the government ministry. So we're going to talk a little bit about the monograph. We want to do it by way of a dialogue. We're just going to have a little chat here, if you like, about that. I'll hand the floor firstly to Xavier Bornal, who will briefly introduce it, and then we'll show a short video about the projects in each of your cities, and then we'll be having a little talk about it. So, thank you. Just to briefly overview the monograph, I'll talk a little bit about it, although, of course, Pablo Gentili has already mentioned it and given it great publicity, quoting some of the works that are in the monograph. We'd like to thank Marina and Maria Angels for giving me the opportunity to coordinate this. I've learned a lot in the process, and I've learned an enormous amount from the experiences that we'll be seeing and the works and scale of city and inclusion, and also through the interviews and other documents that are part of the monograph. I just want to make a couple of points on why we have produced this and what you can expect to find in it, although Dr. Gentili has also talked about it. He stressed the dialectic dimension, it's very contradictory aspect between inclusion and generation of inequalities, despite a reduction in poverty that we have seen in many cities. But as I say, there's this huge contradiction between policies of social fragmentation, urban degeneration, school dropout, and so on, and on the other hand, creation of opportunities, of creative processes, culture, art of all kinds, like the projects we'll see today. It seems sometimes difficult to explain this contradiction, but over the last few decades, specifically since the start of the economic crisis, this contradiction has been aggravated and grown. We've really never seen such great social polarization and fragmentation, even in poor swathes of society. Groups of poor populations are also fragmented, are rarely homogeneous. And also, there are processes at the same time with huge generation of wealth and creativity and art and culture. This strong contradiction, or perhaps even simultaneous nature of these two processes, is so great that today we're also seeing a triangle between social inclusion and education as never seen before. Let me give you a few examples of this today, and I think this has already been said at the Congress. We can't really imagine this fight for social inclusion of adolescents and combating school failures. We can't really see this as only taking place in the school. And that's something we have realized and accepted. The best way to generate projects and trust among excluded teenagers is beyond the school as well as within it. It has to go far beyond it, though. And I think it's a clear sign that the best reaction to exclusion and the crisis entails local mechanisms and policies particularly, and councils play a key role here, that are not the conventional types of reactions we've seen to social conflicts in the past. In times of crisis, we see two major political mechanisms that really don't work at local or national level. State of emergency, or the firefighting state, would be one. Reacting spontaneously to extreme situations of social polarization, maximum marginalization, so very clear urban conflicts. We see this even in Barcelona. It's not just in favelas. There were big riots in Poblenou. So the idea that the aim is just to put out the fire, to create a policy to somehow quash all of this social unrest. But obviously it doesn't avoid them happening, and often these responses are too little too late. The other model that we've seen is a palliative type response, which is also necessary at a peak of a crisis. But at the end of the day, it's about offsetting needs and deficits and, broadly speaking, abject poverty. The monograph contains studies on how we can work with citizens, how we can engage them and review these policies and shift towards a model in which education, not just within the school but without, is vital. And when there is this community and social cohesion, then these experiences are much more likely to be successful and will help the type of policy that seeks to promote this also. So, the content of the monograph. Much of it is about different institutional interventions which are very relevant to social inclusion and cohesion, in which local governments play a key role, but also civil society, all types of associations, be they local, national, or international, working on the right to education, or making cities more inclusive, fighting racism. So from all different perspectives, we have experiences. Then there are interviews also, which mainly focus on different institutional characteristics of inclusion. There's also some theoretical texts, if you like, that Dr. Gentili has mentioned in detail. Lokwakan, Kimbreu, and Anafalu take a theoretical look at how we can understand dynamics of inclusion, exclusion, and inequalities, and the needs to tackle these through inclusion. Also, there are 5 experiences in the monograph, and we'll see 3 of those today, which take different looks, differing but interlinked looks at how we can improve social cohesion, particularly in marginalized communities. I have to say that choosing just 5 experiences from so many fantastic ones that we have in Educating Cities was very tough. There are obviously a lot of experiences going on at the minute that we couldn't include in the monograph. This is just a small sample. It's diverse in terms of geography and also in the objects of their studies, though. So we're going to let's have a closer look at these 3 experiences. I'm going to give the floor firstly to Cristina Tenreiro, who is the Councillor for Education, Sport and Youth of Santa Maria da Feira in Portugal. What we'll do for the 3 cases, I'll show a little 3-minute video first on the experiences, and then we'll talk about the experience a little bit. Cristina, you have the floor, madam. Is the video ready? Shall we start with the video first?
Orquestra Criativa de Santa Maria da Feira, feita de músicos e não músicos, até às vezes a maioria são pessoas que não se consideram músicos. Instrumentos feitos praticamente de material barato, que são tubos de plástico, e material reciclado, que são garrafas de água ou de bebidas, de sumos ou coisas deste tipo.
Interpreters like to point out that this video is subtitled in English.
Tudo isto foi organizado por naipes, como se tratasse de uma orquestra de música clássica, como são violinos, violas, violoncelos e contrabaixos, por exemplo. Assim nós temos tubofones, temos xilofones de plástico, temos até uma flauta feita de plástico. O 90% da poluição dos oceanos do planeta é plástico, infelizmente. Então, em vez de tirar as garrafas, nós fazemos os instrumentos musicais. Construir uma orquestra inteira baseada neste tipo de instrumentos foi uma aventura enorme.
Si te parece, gracias. ¿Nos puedes, muy brevemente...
Very briefly, because really are very bad for time, talk about this wonderful experience, at least from what we can see from the video. Hello, afternoon, and thank you for having selected our project to form part of the monographic publication. I'd like to transmit some of the energy that this creative orchestra provides to a group of persons. Who? Well, all this project kicked off with a view to meeting the needs of our population. Our municipality, Santa Maria da Feira in Portugal, and there's a lot of cultural dynamic in terms of arts, creativity, and so on. And in May, we organized the International Theatre Festival, a performing arts festival. And the programming always includes sort of community participation. We attempt to ensure that all the population has new experiences, theatre, performing art, and so on. In 2008, Portugal, Santa Maria da Feira, and many of the European countries were affected by a massive economic crisis. and we saw that unemployment was increasing. The number of lower middle class families which were severely hit, there was increasing youth unemployment, senior citizens who were also affected by a drop in income. So there were very vulnerable sectors of the population who had to be kind of motivated and to gain self-confidence, showing by being able to prove that they had ingrown talents, if you like. And this led us in Santa Maria da Feira to, by using the arts, by music, art, dance, to include in a project which involved going to different communities, different sectors of the community, kids, people in primary school, secondary school, senior citizens, who were in either living at home in a passive fashion or living in their in old people's homes. We attempted to cover a wide-ranging section of the population, as many people as possible, and people who had links with music. And we set up this orchestra, which has already performed a number of shows. It's very valuable for the population. All these people who participated gained a huge amount of self-confidence, realized that they had skills, that this was a great tool for all this, and new projects, life projects. So it's a project basically the social inclusion nature, which includes participation, creativity, involvement in a joint project. And this orchestra is different from others because we have professionals and non-professionals. Instruments made, built with material from by the own musicians from recycled material. We have. Yes, the musicians make their own instruments so that all of them can have an instrument. It's not easy. We have an orchestra with 100 people. It's not exactly viable to give all of them an instrument. So they make their own. We show them how they can show them how to make their own instruments, and they do so. And that gives them a lot of self-confidence. And they learn the music, they learn the and those who are almost the leaders, the keenest, are those who have no musical training or education, have had very little musical experience. They're the ones who manage to sing, they're the ones who can tell tales, and they're the ones who participate, construct. So it is a participative phenomenon. They're not just spectators; they are actors. They are players, right from the word go, right from the start of the project. To conclude, I know that time is the essence. There's a problem which is not just of Santa Maria da Feira's problem, it's a worldwide problem, which has been mentioned by the keynote speaker. Inequality, I'm afraid, is present and continues and grows. All of us from our territories wish to make efforts to ensure that this inequality decreases. and would, above all, ensure the equality of opportunities. We would like them to believe that they can seize their opportunities, that they can be key actors for change, in a sense of partnership to build a better world and increase happiness. And hopefully participating in this orchestra will make people more happier. That is, if nothing else, that is one achievement we believe we have managed to attain. Thank you, Teresa. Okay, unfortunately, we really do not have any more time, but thank you very much, because I do think we are motivating participants to read the monograph, whether we're able to get more information on your projects. Now, let's talk to Imma Bertocchi from the City Council of Bologna, who will talk to us about history and innovation, the Casa Zanardi project. Di Bertocchi is responsible for social inclusion and the community.
Zanardi è un progetto che parte dalla storia, si chiama Case Zanardi non per caso, ma perché si rifà alla memoria di quanto il sindaco Zanardi fu capace di muovere in una città come Bologna nel momento in cui cominciava la Prima Guerra Mondiale e la gente aveva bisogno di pane e di lavoro. Noi siamo di nuovo a questi temi, a queste due parole chiave, pane e lavoro, a partire appunto dalla memoria di quanto è stato fatto 100 anni fa, quest'anno facciamo il centenario. Abbiamo rilanciato su tutto il territorio della città il progetto appunto intitolato Case Zanardi, che parte dall'idea di aprire botteghe alimentari solidali per far fronte alla difficoltà di spesa alimentare di tante famiglie che stanno anche cadendo in povertà, ma non soltanto far fronte a questo, ma far fronte anche alla povertà di lavoro e alla povertà di relazioni sociali.
I principi informatori di Case Zanardi, quello della lotta allo spreco, ma uno spreco che non è solo visto come uno spreco materiale, ma che, questo mi sembra un punto innovativo che vorrei sottolineare, è lo spreco sotto tutti gli aspetti, anche sotto gli aspetti relazionali, sotto gli aspetti delle capacità che individui e i gruppi hanno e che non vengono sviluppate nella loro giusta misura, nella giusta proporzione.
L'idea è quella di arrivare perlomeno a conclusione di questa prima fase del progetto Case Zanardi ad avere attivi entro il 2014 4 empori solidali, cioè 4 luoghi che distribuiscano generi alimentari a lunga conservazione, beni di prima necessità a circa 500 famiglie.
Ci sono quartieri interi, periferie intere in cui si muoveva già da tempo tutta un'esperienza sociale di vicinato, di affiancamento dei percorsi per le famiglie, di sviluppo della risoluzione dei conflitti nei territori, di attenzioni educative a tema di presenze di ragazzi difficili. Ecco, Case Zanardi è capace anche di raccogliere tutto questo e soprattutto di metterlo a sistema. La differenza tra prima e adesso è che prima ognuno lavorava un po' per conto suo, adesso fanno progetti insieme e quindi Case Zanardi sta creando un sistema sulla progettazione sociale nella città.
Brevemente.
Sí, muy brevemente. Voy a hablar en inglés.
Speak in English, because
Starts from the need to develop new innovative ideas for social, to tackle the social economical crisis, And we realized that the traditional way we used to have for the social services was no longer effective to deal with these problems. So last year there was the opportunity to use a budget from our municipality, and we decided to use the budget, to give this budget to all the city, the actors from the city community, civil society, in order to find a common vision of the social services. I mean, the main goal was to create a system of actors from the private and the public side, and also profit and no profit, in order to create an agreement of solidarity. We say we call the Pact of Solidarity. And we gave scientific support and spaces for developing new activities. But what we did, it was just creating an overall system for joining all these opportunities, all these experiences that we had already. So what I can say is that we have a lot of potential. Sometimes we don't use all these potentials because there is a fragmentation of experiences. So it is possible to combine all these resources, all these experiences, and to create a common vision of the future and of the needs of the city. Because the traditional system of segmentation of the social services is not longer possible. Mm-hmm. So this is a kind of experimentation we are doing right now. It started last month, actually. Was inaugurated the day of the global fight against poverty. It was in October. So we are in the first steps of the project. But we are really, we hope that it will really help the whole city to also to have awareness and education about the importance of feeling part of the same social responsibility, to share the social responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Y finalmente,
last but not least, our last guest here is Agustín Estrada from the Oriente Arts and Crafts Factory in Mexico, from the Secretariat of Culture. Let's see the video, and then we can hear more about the experience.
¿Tienen las cámaras listas? ¿Tienen la memoria lista?
Gracias.
Thank you. Agustin. Well, Faro means the Oriente Arts and Crafts Factory. It's a project which started when the left one power in the city of Mexico. We are one of the biggest cities in the planet. We couldn't vote for our mayor. We had old-fashioned governments, more than 70 governments, and now the same party, the PRI, came back to power. We had a regime, a government known as the regente, the regent, the representative of the king, for God's sake. So until 1997, one of the biggest cities in the world couldn't vote for its mayor. Then it did. 1997, engineer Cuauhtémoc Cárdenas, son of one of the most progressive presidents of Mexico, Lázaro Cárdenas, won power, and he started a large-scale educational project in the margins, in the outlying areas of Mexico. In the first photograph you could see was a huge, big waste dump in Ixtapalapa, a municipal borough which has 2.5 million inhabitants. Bigger than Barcelona or Uruguay or some Central American countries. 2.5 million inhabitants in one municipal borough, and 68% less than 30 years old, with about 4 to 5 euro per day salary, low school attendance. Ixtapalapa has more prisons than universities, in a sense, or more people in prison than in universities. So we had to start a new model of cultural availability, which we use cultural services, which, as you can see, we have a huge library, we have cinemas, we have art galleries, we have if you like, a cinema for kids every Sunday, but we have one vertebrating element, which are the workshops in arts and crafts. Well, our kids do not go based on their school marks, and we have more than 5,000 pupils or students in the 4 workshops we have set up. There are 4 faros, or workshops. There's been a very innovative model in the city of Mexico, and in the Federal District of Mexico, and UNESCO recognizes one of the as a project of excellence. It's one of the best projects in providing culture for excluded communities of Latin America. UNESCO and the CGLU also have bestowed an award. The CGLU is right now in the Faro. In fact, the mayors of the CGLU are visiting there to find out more about the project, and on a fact-finding mission, in a sense, and other 3 centers have been set up. The Faro Milpalta. Milpalta is one of the most remotest areas of Mexico City, out in what used to be an indigenous area where people still speak Nahuatl, and there's community ownership of land, and they've just given us a patch of land so that the Faro of Mitlalpa can grow. We're building it there for the benefit of the 12 original communities, and we're building it with money from the UN. The Faro of Tláhuac is built in the forests of Tláhuac, 12,000 meters. The borough authorities have given it, and the Indios Verdes Faro, or workshop, or factory, we managed to buy an old, run-down building. We provide for 400,000 people a year. We have 8,000 students quarterly, and amongst the 4 faros, we organize about 1,000 activities on a yearly basis. As you can see, that's quite a lot. But Mexico City, Mexico DF, the Federal District of Mexico, is immense, huge. And to conclude, all of you must be fully aware of what is going on in our country. It is an open secret. And I think investment in education and in culture is the only way out. The only way out. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. And before handing back to the coordinator of the monograph, I'd also like to state this is the first time in a Congress where we take advantage of the working sessions to highlight the importance of the monograph, it to be one of the key elements of the Congress. Not only do we publish, but we use them as discussion tools, which is also innovation in the Congress of Educating Cities. So I'd like to thank the International Secretariat and the management of the Congress to take advantage of these synergies. I do have a very quick question, a common question to all of our three guests. They have talked of funding, of the public resource, public budget. The Mexican colleague was talking of a municipal budget for culture with the help of the UN and other international bodies. I don't know whether there has been some comment on the origin or the source of the monies which fund these activities. An Educating City is a city which involves commitment by the public organizations, non-for-profit organizations, but private initiative should also play a part in funding wide-ranging projects. I don't know whether this is an interesting question. I don't know whether there's any future forecast for private involvement in these social transforming projects. Well, in terms of budget, this is funded by the council budget. And over the years, we have contacted players at the national level for funds, and for also to obtain European funds. So we do get money from the Ministry of Culture.
And also the private sector can help us to provide the needs, the fundings. And from the other side, we did a platform for crowdfunding, so to help to ask to the citizens, to the civil society to give donations. So we have a double approach.
Okay, thank you very much. Por favor.
Sí, nosotros tenemos.
Yes, we are lucky for forming part of the government and the private initiative. The private sector is not really interested in funding something like this. But we do work with brands. Now, there's an important project for youth. With all our pupils, our more than 100 groups, we work with an important Latin arts festival, the most important one in Mexico, and there we, if you like, is an ideal platform for yourselves. We are lucky. We aren't public servants, but almost. That does help us to work with brands, and we do not accept funds, but we will accept material, resources. We won't accept monetary donation. We'll accept donations in kind. Thank you very much. And to conclude, because it's really late, let me highlight a few sort of take-homes, if you like. It's been a cross-cutting opportunity. The first thought is that these experiences are not market-driven. They're generated by private initiative of a social nature. And not only do they not come from the market, but similar things in the market and the type of population you address would not be able to access these products. So there's a heavy social element here. The second point is that we can understand as a service is not a service as such in terms of traditional understanding of the term. Participants are key, are essential. In case of Bologna as a case in point, the Casa Zinardi, we are transforming methodology because when persons get a sense of ownership, and I've seen another example from Faro, where it says, Yo soy Faro, I am Faro, does give a strong sense of commitment to the project and of identity. And that's a key question, which is functional for the success of the experience. But also, it clearly bears out, and this takes me to point number 3, is that in the 3 instances, the form or the way to include involves combating exclusion, but not just material exclusion. And inclusion is not material. Okay, obviously, material aspects are essential, but aspects have to do with creating bonds of solidarity, of identification, are almost as important as material aspects. And these are excellent recipes, if you like, to understand the secret of success of experiences like the ones you have described to us so well. Well, let me conclude the presentation. I'll hand over to Jordi Martí if he wishes to say something. And thank all of you for your participation. Let me just thank our members of the round table, but not just them. Everything which lies behind. A whole arsenal of efforts by good people. I'd like to thank the monographic coordinator. You've done wonderful, sterling work, and the Congress will continue its work.